A political firestorm has erupted in Westminster, shaking the foundations of the Labour Party as Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister, finds herself at the centre of a scandal that could spell the end of her political career. Her ex-husband, Mark Rayner, has broken his silence in a bombshell interview with journalist Isabel Oakeshott, unveiling allegations that go far beyond personal disputes. Claims of dishonesty in Rayner's employment history, suspicions of election manipulation, and even whispered rumours of an improper relationship with Labour leader Keir Starmer are now swirling at the heart of British politics. The turning point came when leaked documents from Stockport Council surfaced, contradicting Rayner's long-standing assertion that she worked as a care worker from 2000 to 2015. The documents suggest otherwise, raising serious questions about the integrity of her personal narrative. For years, she portrayed herself as someone who rose from humble beginnings, standing in solidarity with the working class. If these records prove her story to be false, the entire foundation of her political identity may have been nothing more than a carefully crafted illusion. As expected, political opponents have wasted no time in demanding a full independent investigation. Conservative MPs have accused Rayner of deliberately misleading the public, while Nigel Farage of Reform UK has bluntly called for her resignation, accusing her of betraying the people's trust. Now, all eyes are on Mark Rayner. Is he simply a disgruntled ex seeking revenge, or is he genuinely trying to shed light on long-concealed truths? His statements have been both damning and, at times, strangely supportive of Rayner, painting a complex and contradictory picture. Among the most sensational claims is the alleged affair between Angela Rayner and Keir Starmer. Rayner alleges that he once witnessed the two in a compromising situation. If such a claim was substantiated, it could send shockwaves through the Labour leadership. In the midst of these serious accusations, speculation has also begun to swirl around recent emotional exchanges between Rayner and Rayner, from heated arguments to moments of reconciliation. Could a reunion be on the horizon, or is this merely part of a chaotic backdrop to an already volatile situation? Regardless of the personal drama, Rayner's revelations have undeniably dealt a severe blow to Rayner's credibility. The stakes rose even higher with new allegations that she delayed local elections in 9 Conservative-led council areas, where Reform UK was gaining momentum, potentially tipping the scales for political advantage. If this was indeed an orchestrated effort, it could be interpreted as a direct attack on the democratic process. Nigel Farage has branded it an assault on the electorate's rights, while Shadow Housing Secretary Kevin Hollinrake accused Rayner of valuing political convenience over democratic transparency. Although Rayner insists the delays were tied to necessary restructuring and governance reforms, critics argue that the timing appears far too convenient to be coincidental. Angela Rayner now stands under the spotlight, facing an avalanche of accusations ranging from falsified employment history to electoral tampering and personal misconduct. Her supporters are adamant that this is all part of a calculated smear campaign intended to derail Labour's momentum ahead of an election. They argue that her private life has been unfairly weaponized and question the suspicious timing of the leaked information. Still, the calls for her resignation are getting louder, no longer whispers among fringe critics but loud and persistent demands echoing across party lines. This could be a defining moment in Angela Rayner's career, either the beginning of a powerful fightback or the start of an irreversible downfall. As the dust continues to swirl, public trust in her integrity and the Labour Party at large hangs in the balance. Mark Rayner's motivations remain a point of speculation, revenge or righteousness, but the damage is undeniable. With the investigation gaining momentum, one must wonder if this is the end of her rise or merely another chapter in a turbulent political journey. Whatever the outcome, the implications will ripple far beyond one politician, potentially reshaping the entire Labour Party and the broader landscape of British politics. Meanwhile, the world has been hit with another major shock, one that could trigger economic tremors well beyond Britain's borders. A seismic shift in global trade policy has just unfolded, and the United Kingdom is already feeling the impact. In an overnight move that blindsided markets, Donald Trump unleashed a sweeping wave of new tariffs, starting with a 10% levy across all U.S. ports, airports, and customs checkpoints. What began quietly after midnight has rapidly become the most aggressive trade maneuver in generations, altering the global economy in ways that may take years to unravel. With panic spreading, markets have responded with volatility unseen in years. Within just 48 hours, the S&P 500 lost a staggering $5 trillion in value. Oil and commodity prices tumbled, and investors fled to the perceived safety of government bonds. Across the Atlantic, the United Kingdom is already on Trump's tariff list, alongside Australia, Argentina, Colombia, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt. The European Union is being hit with a massive 20% tariff rate, while China faces a crushing 34%, pushing total US tariffs on Chinese goods to an historic 54%. If that wasn't alarming enough, another wave of even higher tariffs, ranging from 11% to 50%, is set to activate by Wednesday. Canada and Mexico may have escaped some of these duties but remain entangled in separate 25% penalties related to fentanyl import enforcement. The rapid pace of these changes has left many global leaders scrambling, and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is among those trying to calm the storm. Reports suggest he's been on non-stop calls with international counterparts, including Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, working urgently to coordinate a unified response. Starmer's office has issued statements urging calm and rational decision-making, emphasizing that the UK will act in its national interest, not in haste. Still, for thousands of British exporters and small businesses, the government's reassurances may ring hollow. Major UK export sectors, including steel, automotive components, semiconductors, and pharmaceuticals, are now directly in the crosshairs of Trump's tariffs. The short-term exemptions granted to select products, while appreciated, do little to offset the broader economic fallout for industries that rely heavily on transatlantic trade. With the international trade system in chaos, one question looms large: is this the beginning of a prolonged global trade war? The signs are troubling. Even before the dust has settled on this first wave of tariffs, the White House has expanded investigations that could lead to further duties under the guise of national security. This suggests the current upheaval is not a one-off move but the first step in a deliberate shift toward economic nationalism. Though some sectors have been spared, temporarily, the scale and intensity of the tariffs mark an unprecedented move in modern economic history. Over 1,000 product categories, amounting to nearly $645 billion in imports, remain untouched for now, but that could change at any moment. And for Britain, already grappling with the economic aftershocks of Brexit, this feels like a second blow to an already delicate recovery. The sense of uncertainty is palpable, not just among politicians and business leaders, but across the workforce, as jobs tied to exports now hang in the balance. Starmer continues to rally international partners, attempting to forge a path through the chaos. But as the trade rulebook is rewritten before our eyes, the global community must confront a difficult reality: the era of stable, negotiated trade may be coming to an end. Trump's tariffs are not a fleeting political stunt. They represent a fundamental shift in how the US intends to interact with the world economically. As the British public watches this new chapter unfold, many are left wondering whether anyone, anywhere, can put the brakes on what is quickly becoming an unstoppable global chain reaction.